May all beings be happy. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today I am going to teach you a Jataka story. The name of this Jataka story is THILAMUTTI JATHAKA. The meaning of Tila is sesame, a grain by which very tasty sweets are made of. Then the mutti is a handful. The combined meaning of this word is a handful of sesame. Now let's see what this interesting Jataka story is. Long ago, when King Brahmadatta was ruling in the kingdom of Bana, he had lovely son. He also named as Brahmadatta. In this period, there was a tradition that the children of royal and elite families send their children to educate to a teacher called Disapamo. King Brahmadatta also sent his loving child, Prince Brahmadatta also was sent to this teacher, Disapamok teacher. Then Disapamok teacher welcomed this princess and he began to educate, teach this Prince Brahmadatta. Then Disapamok teacher and students used to go to a river to have a bath daily. On their way, they passed a house where a lady, old lady, dry sesame in the compound. When they are passing this house, Prince Brahmadatta wait a little while and let others go short distance away and get a handful of sesame from that sesame. Then this old lady saw this incident, but he didn't inform the Sapamok teacher because this innocent child got this handful of sesame because he is hungry. Thinking so, she didn't inform the Sapamok teacher. On the following day also, on the way to river, as first day, this Prince Brahmadatta stole a handful of sesame when other students go little distance away. Then on that day also, this old lady kept silent, thinking this child got a handful of sesame because he is very hungry. On the third day also, Prince Brahmadatta waited a little bit and got a handful of sesame and put it into his mouth. Then on that day, this old lady couldn't remain silent because if she remains silent, she will remain nothing because every day Prince Brahmadatta used to steal handful of sesame. Then at that moment, she informed the Sapamok teacher about this stealing. At that moment, the Sapamok teacher asked the Prince Brahmadatta whether you stole a handful of sesame. Then at that moment, Prince Brahmadatta accepted that he has stolen handful of sesame. At that moment, the Sapamok teacher get a cane from the woods and thrashed with him several times to Prince Brahmadatta. Then Prince Brahmadatta was ashamed and he was really embarrassed because he was thrashed among his fellow students. Therefore, at that moment, Prince Brahmadatta determined to revenge from the Sapamok teacher. Then he thought, when he become a king of the kingdom of Bana, then at that moment he would get revenge from the Sapamok teacher. Afterwards, Prince Brahmadatta never stole sesame from that old lady. Then he learned all kind of statecraft and other skills which a king should educate. Then in the end of his education, he left the institute of the Sapamok teacher. Then after that, when he went to kingdom of Baranas, he performed his skills in front of his father and other royal retinue. Then at that moment, the king Brahmadatta and other people were so pleased with his talents and his skills. And at that moment, King Brahmadatta entrusted his kingdom to Prince Brahmadatta. Then after that, he ascended the throne and after became the mighty king of kingdom of Baranas, he remembered that revenge. Then he invited the Sapamok teacher to his kingdom. When the Sapamok teacher got the invitation from the King Brahmadatta, at that moment he was wise enough to understand this invitation is not for the betterment of him. This invitation is very crucial. Therefore, he postponed his visit to King Brahmadatta. Then, when time passed, after several years, the Sapamok teacher decided to go to visit King Brahmadatta himself. Then, after arrival to kingdom of Baranas, he informed king that he has arrived to kingdom of Baranas. At that moment, king came to visit the Sapamok teacher. At that moment, King Brahmadatta reminded what you have done when I was a student of your institute. You have trashed me mercilessly, therefore I order you to kill. Then at that moment, the Sapamok teacher be quiet and calm, and he explained, if he didn't thrashed on that day for the fault you have done on that day, then you would be a robber a thief, not a king. Now you are a mighty king because I instructed you and advised you at that moment when you have stolen a handful of sesame. If I didn't thrash you on that day, you are not a king today, but a thief or robber. Then other followers of the king also got to know this incident, and they also explained the king that the importance of that instruction and advice given by the Disapamuk teacher. Then the king Brahmadatta also wise enough to understand this great advice, and after that he was so pleased with Disapamuk teacher's action at that moment. Therefore, he offered his kingdom to Disapamuk teacher. But Disapamuk teacher refused it, and after that he went back to his own village. Then King Brahmadatta offered all kinds of comforts and other requirements to his teacher, Disapamuk teacher, as to pay gratitude. Then this is the THILAMUTTI JATHAKA. This THILAMUTTI JATHAKA gives us very important advice. These advices are very important to children, especially they are important to children. The first advice is, in our childhood, our teachers, our parents, and our well-wishers point out our faults, mistakes, and errors. They advise us with kind-heartedly, not because anger for us. Therefore, we should be clever enough to understand that the teachers, parents, and our other elders also advise us pure heart. Therefore, at that moment, we should not be angry with them. Therefore, at that moment, we should understand those people advise us with mercifully for the betterment of us. This is the first advice. The second advice we can get from this Jataka story is, we should not steal even a smallest thing. We should never steal. If you steal a smallest thing on the first day, you deprive your fear to steal. Then on the following day you'd steal a smaller thing. Then third day you will steal small thing. Then in this way you don't hesitate to steal bigger thing. In the end you steal biggest thing. Then in this manner we should understand, we should fear to stealing. Then these are the advices we can absorb from this Jataka story. Then this is the Thilamutti Jataka story, and may the noble triple gem bless you all. Thank you.